Hi guys, welcome back to another P3D version 5 video. We are today flying the Queen of the Sky, the PMDG B747-400 ER. And we are flying for Airwego. I have done a previous video flying the 747 for Airwego, but I think I only did trying to think, did I do the approach and landing maybe at LAX. I don't think I did the takeoff, but this time, or maybe I did like the takeoff and landing. It was a while since I did that video. But today we'll be flying from Heathrow to Paris Charles de Gaulle, and we'll be doing the full sequence, aka takeoff, cruise and landing. It's a very short flight. I think it's the shortest wide-body flight. Maybe the Manchester-London one is a bit shorter actually, that Airwego has in its route network. And I thought it would just be fun to do a short flight with the Queen of the Sky. Saves myself some time, even though this beautiful aircraft is best used for long hauls, of course. And we do have some other 747s from Fly UK here close by, and then yeah, there's another one as well. Is that the 800 model though? Can't really differentiate. I know the 800 is a bit longer, but oh well. We might have a few other ones. We have a bit of a mix. Could be that there's a few other 747s hiding here throughout Heathrow. Definitely maybe some here at the, which is now blocked by the cargo area behind this terminal. And let me just get back to a nicer, and I actually realized I haven't fixed the views on this one. It's always something you forget to do, because I want to remove the transition effects. That they don't really work that well in P3D, unfortunately, at least to my experience. We might also wanna update some of these viewpoints just a tiny bit, and my own personal recommendation is always to do this whenever you set up a new chased plane profile. It's good to get the kind of viewpoints somehow nicely set up, and you have to put it kind of in relation to your screen and kind of your layout. Since I have a wide screen, I need to tweak basically all of my viewpoints a bit so that they don't look weird. I don't want to see the inside of the airplane, for example, while simultaneously seeing the outside as an example. We should have some nice, here was one with a bit of a weird one as well, so we need to change that just a tiny bit and save. We'll need to do the same on this one. Okay, now I think I have some okay viewpoints. Hopefully, can't know for certain until we're up and flying. One thing I also noticed is I have some weird GSX. So basically I have the default jetways and then the GSX one, so I'm not sure if the exclusion is working here, but at least I have somewhat functioning jetways. It looks a bit odd to have a jetway within a jetway. As you can see, one of them is here, and then you have the GSX one, but oh well, not the end of the world. Jumping inside, we don't have an EFB, so that's an interesting thing. I'm not sure why they haven't added like an iPad or similar. I guess it's because all the ones they have included in the P3D versions were the ones that came with the aircraft, so that's why you have it on the 747-8 model and 777 and the 737. But I guess, you know, cargo planes would have their own pads or own iPads that they're using, or well, maybe not just only cargo planes, but I guess the few remaining 747-400 operators will also have would have their own iPads or some sort of EFB. But let's get started. It was a while since I flew this one. In terms of the cockpit, I have some enhancement package that makes it a bit brighter on the inside and also adds some what would you call it? Some marks on the screen, so they look a bit used. But that's about it in terms of that. Let's start with the batteries. And I think if you listen, I'm not sure with the volume I have, you can hear a bit of the batteries making some noise. We then of course have the standby power, which we can go to auto. You can see some of the lights came on down here. And then we want to do external power 1 and 2. I think we can do both of them. We're getting some more noises. Getting the screens up and running. I think I went for the old school displays. But let me have a look, because I have the old school. Because you can, I think, switch some of these out. So align and then nav. I think we can put this to auto. Not really following maybe the correct checklist, but we're making life easier for ourselves. The nav lights can also go on. Window heats, I guess, can go on. Passenger oxygen is set. No smoking can go on. Seatbelt signs can stay as they are. And yeah, let's have a look at our section. I'm gonna use my nice what's it called? My nice hardware FMC to check all of these things. So equipment. This is mainly a check I would usually recommend doing if you haven't. So here, for example, have electrical standby. We can switch between. Or can we? Maybe we can't when it's on. But we can switch here the alternate. F is yes or no. We'll keep it. Or maybe we can have an alternate one. Can't hurt at least. Not sure though why that one disappeared on us. And then we can have bank angle call out, which should be fine. I'll put some of these lower call outs on. I do like them being called out. Not sure how realistic some of them are, but they are nice to haves. Or nice to have. Yeah, we can have FMC calculate V-speed. We don't have any VFB to do that. You can have the updated original fuel system, standby tanks. So there's some settings here you can put in. Hydraulics, ADF. Not sure why some of these ones aren't changeable. Could be that if you have specific settings you can't tweak them, so that's something to keep in mind. You can have this RMI. I do like to have a bit of an extra setup of different. Looks cool when there's a lot of things in the cockpit. Let me see this love one. Some of these I'm not even sure what they are. We can also change the window, right? New and old. We'll keep the old one. We can have a checklist, custom, none. We can keep the checklist one. And what's this? Paravel not installed original. Okay, so just some change for the CRT screens, that's the name. I guess you can choose between that and LED, I think. Let me see if we can change between this one, digital and analog. We'll keep it analog. And then might not be here actually, but maybe on displays you can change between, you can see the difference, right? LCD to CRT. I do prefer the older look. It's more dark look. When you select that LCD, it's more of a bluish kind of color. But that's of course up to preference, which one you prefer. And let me see, anything else? Don't think so. I think that was basically just it. I wanted to check that we had everything set up correctly in terms of equipment. And in terms of other things to check, I think it's looking pretty good. We can do the emergency lights to armed. A bit weird how this button seems to be a bit differently placed, but okay, not the end of the world. And I think this PMDG 747-400 is still the best one out there in any flight sim. Well, apart from that, I guess specific 747 sim. But in terms of the major one, Microsoft Flight Sim, X-Plane, P3D, etc. There's a good Sparky version though for X-Plane 12 that I've been thinking about getting, and I might actually get that. I do think I might be able to have that for specific. Yeah, I think for example Atlantic Sun I could fly the Sparky one, Walker, maybe even fly UK, so I might get that just to have a bit of variety in the sims. I can fly the 747-400, but I think the PMDG is supposedly the best one out there as of now. In terms of FS actions, we need to populate this one. Block fuel, something good to always start with. We're almost at the correct one. We want to be a bit lower. We want to be at 40,000 ish. Zero fuel weight. We're gonna have packs of 390, so we want to be a bit higher at 496. Let's see if that works. Oh wait, I can't do it on fuel. I think I need to do it on payload. 496. So there we go. Now we should have all the inputs correctly set. And what we can do as the next step is get our pack X and our boarding going. We're not gonna board 390 passengers. That will take hours, unfortunately. But we'll try to board as many as, well, reasonable, I guess. Short flight. We're going up to 25,000. It won't take 2 hours, but that's just the ones I normally do for the short ones. We can do that. We'll have in-flight entertainment, maybe not Wi-Fi. Not sure if these ones would have that. We'll do the Airwego boarding music, and we'll do the Airwego safety. I'll also request boarding. And let's see, it might be GSX though is a bit tricky in terms of what it will board. Could be that it's gonna really try to board 390 people, but let's hope not. You can see that they have some of the interior design from an exterior perspective, but nothing too fancy, right? Doesn't look the best here in terms of the details. It's a beautiful aircraft, don't get me wrong in that regard. PMDG has done a good job, but of course with P3D you'll really notice kind of when you zoom in that it's just not as crisp as, let's say, X-Plane or even Microsoft Flight Sim. Even though it's, I mean, and that's just kind of detail. It depends on what you like. I'm not too needy in that regard, but of course I appreciate when you put in the effort to really make it good looking, and of course taking the full, or harnessing the full powers of the sim. I think a lot of developers really didn't do too much in that regard in P3D. They kind of just upgraded their current lineups. But it's nice to see in Microsoft Flight Sim, and now with X-Plane 12 as well, that they're pushing themselves a bit more. I think the developers of Microsoft Flight Sim is a bit better, I would say, in that regard. For example, Toalis hasn't really improved on their texturing with some of their latest releases, such as the A330 900. But let's see going forward. Hopefully they'll continue improving. Or not continue improving, but start improving. And I guess Toalis is capable of that if you look at the A320neo, right? That looks much better on the inside. Okay, they want to open the doors. The problem is, I think, is I only had the second entry, but now we're opening the first. All of the cargo ones are already open, and now all of the doors should also be open, so we can get the passengers boarding. In terms of next step, I would say it's importing the flight plan. Ah no, now I managed to misclick. Let me see. There we go. So we'll import to pilot to ADC. We can change this. I did a flight here a couple of days ago with the Bonaire Pilatus. Just didn't feel like putting it on YouTube. Sometimes you just wanna fly for the sake of flying. Okay, runway 09. Some odd. Let me see. I think they're giving us the wrong altitude. So that's always something to be a bit careful and making sure we get the right one with pilot to ADC. We can also check that we do have the right flight plan here. Mod. Yeah, mod is the SID. And B-Box is the star. And then the question is about the approach. So we're gonna be at Mopar if we're doing the ILS. For the approach, we could do the MOP 7E. And let me see how that would work. Yeah, okay. So it should be relatively smooth sailing, hopefully. Let's file, let's wait with connecting so we don't have to trick with the sound, etc. I wanna prepare our flight plan. We can put this one on the legs page, and I guess this one we can just keep as is. But this one we have a very out of date ARAC, I just realized. So that's something you wanna avoid most of the time. We'll put the IRS position. We'll put the route in as well. Yeah, okay, there's no airport with triple L's, which makes sense. LF LFPG. We're taking off from runway 09. Or let me have a look actually. So we're gonna be taking off. I think we have a bit of a, maybe not that long. I'm gonna connect to the sim. Let's see how far we have to go to take off. Could be a bit of a hike if I'm remembering correctly our position, but let's see. Yeah, so we're gonna have to go left and then down. So not too bad, but of course a bit of a longer one compared to if we're taking off from the 27 right or left runway for Heathrow. And taking that into account, it's weird, does Heathrow really only have these 2 runways? You'd think it would have more. Yeah, that's very interesting actually. I know they were talking about expanding Heathrow, but then nothing happened. Maybe it was closed down during the corona pandemic, right? Another victim of that plague. Okay, let's see. So we're flying 09 right. Modi. That gives us a nice route. Let me see a route. We're then flying UM8. Oh, sorry, UM185 to mid. From mid, we're flying the UL. God, but this is annoying when it always doesn't want to take my inputs. UL612 as the via to Bogna. Then from Bogna we have a direct to Hardy. And then from Hardy we have another Airway 605 to B. Come on. Work with us to B-Bucks, and that's gonna give us our approach info. So 09 left. Let me just check, was that what we got from Pilot ADC? Not right. No, it's saying 09 right. Okay, but I mean, that's not too much of a difference. We can change that. So arrival 09 right, B-Bucks 9, I think 9. Oh, we have the B-Bucks X, and maybe it's the 9D and 9X, 9D. Ugh. I think it's this one I want to do, and then for the transition, I think it was the MOP one we were doing, right? I'll have the MOP 6. Well, let's have a look that we're flying the right one. Biba 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then it should be Coliv, Mopar, PG 527, vectors to. Yeah, okay, that seems reasonable-ish. Okay, it looks like the boarding is done. We're getting the beeping that we can close some of these doors. Let's have a look. Yeah, looks like everything is kind of ready. So let's close it all up. There we have a beautiful Concorde, or yeah, maybe not the nicest model, but the real aircraft was pretty. So we'll close all. Let's see that that's what's happening. And that looks to be the case. Slowly and steadily. Any aircrafts coming in for landing? Not that we can see. Here we have some Fly UK A350s. That's pretty cool. Wish we got that in P3D. That would be a nice addition. We can arm all doors. And we can deny access to the flight deck door. What's this one? Attendant advisory on. Never think I've used that. Interesting. One thing we never checked was this one. Seems like it's working, so that's good news. Okay. So the next steps, we have the flight plan inserted. We can activate that and execute. We can do a quick view. Yeah, it looks reasonable. Being a bit lazy here, but that's fine. In terms of getting our data correctly inserted, we can start with the 496. Oh, that's not the reserves. That's the 496 wanted the 0 fuel in the reserves. We want to have 9.4. Cost index of 25. Cruising altitude of 25,000 feet. Here we have our cruise CG. Unable next altitude, that'll be fine. We don't have any way to do this once, I think. Let me have a look if we can get the selected temp though from our flight plan. Yes, we can. 54. That's good days. Let me see if we do 54. Yeah, maybe that could be good enough. The rated takeoff 2 actually is the recommended one. Okay, let's see if we can do that. I'm just following the flight plan suggestion now. What about flaps 10? Okay, flaps 10. 126, 132, 148 is the V1 they are recommending. So let's see if we're doing flaps 10, not 100. Yeah, okay. It's quite close. Let's put in the... Actually, I think we can find the trim config 24.1, right? So a bit different. 24.1. Oh yeah, we can't do the dot. It should just be 24. Heading and slope. In order to get that correctly, we would need to connect to the 80s. The question is which one is the 80s for London. It's 12192. And now we're on the wrong 12192. Huh. Oh yeah, that's the problem. 12192. Now that's really is the problem. Oh wait, I think if I change like this, 121. Still no luck. Oh, because now we're using the number 1 com. Okay. 121. 92. I need to really figure out how to use these comms. There's something a bit different how to set it up. Okay. Are we hearing anything? Let me see actually if we have.
We're ready to go when you are.
2.4.
There we go.
QNH is 1022. Arriving and departing runway 09er left, 09er right.
Good morning, ladies and
Heathrow
gentlemen,
Airport
and
information
welcome aboard
November
flight
8-3.
4003.
Current QNH is 1022. Arriving and departing runway 09er left, 09er right.
Cabin doors
Yeah.
now closed. We ask that you make sure that all devices are in airplane mode and your larger devices are now shut down and stowed. If you have not already, please fasten your seatbelt and verify it is low and tight across your lap.
This must been like a
Seatback must be in the full
shittier.
upright position for departure.
Let's try another 80s.
Cabin for departure.
Oh, now it's switched to COM 2.
9er left, 09er
There we go.
right.
Okay, let's see. Come on.
Heathrow Airport information November 850 local winds are 040 at 9er knots.
0,
Visibility 6 miles.
4,
Skies clear. Temperature
0.
11, dew point 3. Current QNH is 1022. Arriving and departing runway 09er left, 09er right.
Can we change
Heathrow Airport
like
information
this?
November 850 local winds are 040 at 9er knots. Visibility 6 miles. Skies clear. Temperature 11, dew point 3. Current QNH is 1022. Arriving and departing runway 09er left, 09er right.
Okay, let's.
Local winds are 040
now I
at
need to
9er
change
knots.
to the
Visibility 6 miles.
control
Skies clear.
or ground.
Temperature 11, dew point 3. Current QNH is 1022.
121
Arriving and departing runway 09er
7
left, 09er right.
on the radio. Yeah, 1217. That should be the ground frequency that we need to be at. I hope at least. We can start the APU as well. I think we'll need to at least get some of those pumps on to successfully start the APU. We can also start the beacon. We can put on the seatbelt sign. Here we have. Can we switch this one to something? Oh yeah, here's the settings for that. Or okay, we can keep it like that, right? Yeah, okay, good. Stat. That will show us that the APU is starting. Good. And that's in the at the back. Anything? Oh, what are those spoilers doing? We don't want them to pop up. I think we can't keep the packs on, so those should stay off for the engine start, at least with the 400 model if I'm not mistaken. We have the APUs now. I think we can keep the APU bleed on like that. I think that's what we'll need in terms of those. Engine shutdown, TCAS, so we'll need to ask Airwego 4003 Heavy, ready to copy IFR clearance.
Airwego 4003 Heavy is
I'll
cleared
just
to Lima
populate this
Foxtrot
based
Papa
on the
Golf
text.
flying via the Mod 1 Juliet departure with the ModMe transition, then is filed. Expect departure runway 09er right. Climb to flight level 120 via the departure. Expect higher clearances 5 minutes after departure. Heathrow radar director on 119.72. Squawk 4516.
Airwego 4003 Heavy is cleared to Lima Foxtrot
So we got the
Papa
right
Golf
squawk
flying via
now.
the Mod 1 Juliet departure with the Mod My transition,
TARA.
then is filed. Climb to flight level
keep
120
that on
via the
rejected
departure.
takeoff.
Expect higher clearances 5 minutes after departure. Heathrow radar director on 119.72. Squawk 4516.
Airwego
TA on me,
4003
okay.
Heavy readback correct QNH is 1022. Let us know when you're ready for pushback.
Let me see
QNH is
data.
1022 Airwego
You wanna be on
4003 Heavy.
map mode, right? There we go, TFC. And keep this one as is flight director on. Let's look, we have data. We can wait with any of these weather radar terrain stuff. We can put this, yeah, it's correct. Airwego 4003 Heavy, ready for pushback.
Airwego 4003 Heavy pushback approved.
Pushback approved Airwego 4003 Heavy.
We can disconnect the jetways so we can get that pushback, and we can also disconnect the various stuff that we have connected, because we no longer need the external powers. That's all the ground connections. We can release that. So ground power and air conditioning unit. Oh, what happened now? Oh, did I forget those?
1022. Arriving and departing runway
come on.
09er left, 09er right. Heathrow Airport automated weather observation 850 local winds are 040
As long
at
as I don't
9
have to
knots.
redo
Visibility
it,
6
that's
miles.
fine.
Skies clear. Temperature 11, dew point 3. Current QNH is 1022. Arriving and departing runway 09er left, 09er right. Heathrow Airport automated weather observation
Which one is it
850
listening
local winds
to?
are 040 at 9er knots. Visibility 6 miles. Skies clear. Temperature 11, dew point 3. Current QNH is 1022. Arriving and departing runway
Oh,
09er
because
left,
we're listening to
09er
both of
right.
them. Let's see.
Current QNH is 1022.
This is
Arriving
how
and
I want to
departing
do it, I think. Okay, now we have the right ground radio. Okay, phew. Don't know why I missed the APU generator. I thought I had connected them. Let me see in it. Hopefully these are. We got the split barrow disagree. Oh, that's these barrow that are disagreeing. Let's put those. Let's just have a look. I think we should be fine. Hopefully there isn't a split in terms that we're getting wrong data from our IRSs, but let's see. No, not position. We want to have the data one on. Same with the TFC. We can put a bit of range. 5 nautical miles should be good enough. And yeah, we are ready to actually get somewhere. Hopefully we won't have any more mishaps, which you never know. We'll prepare for pushback and departure. Let me just think. Lights are set correctly and the signs are set correctly in terms of no smoking and those sort of things. And yeah, I think we're basically ready. The only thing we didn't do, I just realized, was the V1 speeds. And I'm gonna actually use the ones we got from, they're a bit higher, so I feel a bit more, or maybe not that much higher, actually lower on the rotation and the,
Hello, Captain. We are ready for pushback.
or higher on the V2, so it's only the rotation speed that's a bit lower. I will use the Navigraph ones, hopefully they should work. In terms of the weather en route,
Departure check
doesn't
completed.
look like there's
Bypass
anything
pin inserted.
bad. I will have a bit of a crosswind throughout most of the flight. So yeah, nothing too interesting in terms of our landing. Airport, that's Charles de Gaulle. Also looks pretty good. Brussels looks pretty good. You have to put in a alternate. Didn't even think of that, but I don't think you have to. I know with Airbus you do put that in. Yeah, looks good. What can I do with this one? Pre-flight. Okay, so there is some sort of dealing. We wanna face north. So we wanna face south.
Release parking brakes.
Okay, let's check. We put on compass, we put on pack X. Have we double checked pack X?
Release parking brakes.
I don't think so. But it looks correct. Pre-flight.
Release parking brakes. Commencing push. All engines clear. Start at will.
Okay, we can start at will. Let's do engine 3 first. And we are seeing some life in that engine. It's this one here. You can see the engines are a bit differently placed, I think. This one points a bit up, and this one points a bit more straight forward. There we go. It's starting.
To release your seatbelt, lift the upper portion of the buckle. We suggest that you keep your seatbelt fastened throughout the
Very beautiful engines, these. And now I'm trying to think. 747 engine.
To evacuate the aircraft, those can be opened by moving the handle in the direction of the arrows. Each door is equipped with an inflatable slide, which may also be detached and used as a life raft.
Was it the General Electric PV? They had the Rolls-Royce or the CF4 or the new Pratt & Whitney 4000 engines. Is this the... Oh, this is the GE engines, you can see it based on that one. Okay, good start on that one. Engine number 2.
Set parking brakes.
Set parking brakes.
Good engine start.
Okay, we're over 150. Oh yeah, we can't talk, we have to actually tell them.
We have a good engine start. You can disconnect.
Unlocking gear.
Use the whistle and light to attract attention. At this time, your
Okay, they're
portable
unlocking
electronic
gear.
devices must be set to aeroplane mode until an announcement is made on arrival. We remind you that this is a non-smoking flight and tampering or disabling the smoke detectors located in the toilets is prohibited by law.
Yeah, looking pretty good here. Oh yeah, it is moving. It looks weird. It looked like it didn't move.
Enjoyable flight with Airwego today.
Okay, I think we can start the fourth engine. Oh, these are some... I'm gonna change this viewpoint a bit.
Tow truck disconnected. Bypass pin removed.
Let's have a look at the fourth
Right
one.
is clear.
Yeah, time to do the fuel cutoff. That's a lot of different engine viewpoints. I guess the default we're really set up to enjoy those engines. And look at that, a British Airways, what was it, A350, I think? Okay, good, now we have both engines on that side, basically ready to go. Close enough at least. And we'll start the number 1 engine once that's the lights out. Yeah, we can see the guy still there, chilling. Yeah, bye bye. Bye bye. Okay, we put that to run. We can do LNAV, VNAV. This is the Wait, where's the secret? Is it trust you put, or do you? I do wonder. Let's try when we get to the runway, which you press to get the. Maybe we can zoom in this a bit more. Doesn't hurt. Pretty good frames actually with the PMDG. So that's nice to see. We can keep these
Ground, hello, Etihad,
down. Do we have any here? Oh yeah, we can put that up as well. So let's keep that open. Clock on. Something looks odd with this clock though. I'm gonna quickly check the options. It feels like that clock should be a bit electrical standby. Let me see, why is that one looking weird? We wanna keep ADF. Oh, now I went to the wrong option. But yeah, that one looks a bit odd. Don't think it's supposed to look like that. I hope not. Let me see. Push to talk, intercom. We can keep these ones. I'll keep analog.
Cabin is secure. Ready for departure.
Was that it? Wasn't there something for the
Straight ahead, second right, NS Foxtrot, November to Bravo 43, Express,
para visual display? Then we can keep as is, I think. Window frame, maybe that? No. Very interesting actually. Option, simulation. I don't think any of these options would be related to that. Or maybe it looks like that. Let me have a look. PMDG B747-400 cockpit. This looks like such a weird clock. Yeah, it's not really supposed to look like that based on the images I'm seeing. We can keep it as is. It's not gonna make a difference, but I just thought I would point it out that this is not how it's supposed to look. I think this is how it should look. But it could be the mod I have for the cockpit that makes it a bit weird, so you can't see the background. But it doesn't really matter. It's kind of non-important. It's just a visual thing, right? Which one do we want to keep? We can keep that side for the exterior. We can shut the... We can put on the packs. And we can shut the APU. You want to keep that on, or does it matter? I assume it doesn't. We don't have any checklist or similar to do. Hydraulics. Can we check flight controls to this one? doesn't seem like we can. So I'm just gonna check. Yeah, just do some small checks. You can see here the aileron, so looks like it's working, so that's good. We wanna go to the init ref, so I just wanna check the trim 4.8. 4.8 is around that. I'm gonna go flaps 10. We are on rejected takeoff. We can release parking brake. We're gonna do weather radar and terrain. This we have both options. We release the parking brake. We're gonna add a bit of thrust. We're gonna check compass. We are taxiing. Oh, that was quick. We got a lot of, I mean, we're quite light just because we don't really have any fuel. Something to keep in mind. Oh yeah, look, now when we have a bit of light there, we can see it much. Could potentially be that there's some light controlling just specifically that one. And I've forgotten to put it on in a good way or something to that effect. Oh, we need to ask actually for taxi clearance, I just realized. Airwego 4003 heavy, ready to taxi. Anything? Yeah.
Airwego 4003 heavy runway 09 right. Taxi via taxiways Lima, Bravo, Kilo, Alpha, Lima 52, Yankee, November 11, November Bravo 11.
So we got a taxi. Clearance.
Runway 09 right. Taxi via taxiways Lima, Bravo, Kilo, Alpha, Lima 52, Yankee, November 11, November Bravo 11. Hold short runway 09
Not
right.
sure if it's supposed to.
Heavy.
I do prefer, I think, the 777's taxiing and the 737 from this one. This one feels a bit odd to taxi. It could just be that that's how it's supposed to feel, but it does feel a bit speedy. I'm not sure you can really turn the way I've been turning now, but I could be wrong, of course. So keep that in mind. I'm not a 747 real life pilot. Let's turn back on. Another takeoff. We have an American airline 777. They're further in front. We have a lot of traffic actually here at Heathrow. That's a 747 coming for landing. I think there's an Airbus there, a Fly UK one, and then we have a potential A330 Metro Air, but I'm not sure, not 100% at least.
On taxiway.
Yeah, that's fine. I want to be on taxiway. I'm gonna throttle down a bit. Fuel pump 2 and 3 aft. Yeah, I want to put those on. Oh, we're taking off runway 9, give or take. So I'll put the heading on that. This must be an A330, right? I actually quickly wanna see if it is one. Yeah, that definitely looks like an A330 with the Rolls-Royce engines. We used to have that with Metro Air. I wonder what liveries they had. Okay, let's turn a bit to the right. So we maintain the right. Wanna do this side for the takeoff. Okay, we have a bit of a queue in front of us. One other thing we forgot completely was the taxi and runway turn of lights. Bit embarrassing. But, c'est la vie, c'est la vie. I don't recall cancel, that's fine. Anything specific? We can put these up so in case we go to speed mode we have that set correctly. Hell, only 1 hour of preparations before we got away. Could have been worse. You can see the wing flex and everything kind of moving as we're taxiing here. There we can see quite a bit of different freighters, mainly Fly UK and Metro Air. Flaps are set. Thrust settings, etc. V1 speeds. Rejected takeoff. We can start doing some things. Put these on and strobe, so we're ready for the takeoff. And it wasn't A320, it was actually 737 by Fly UK, so my miss.
Airwego 4003 heavy contact, Heathrow Tower on 124.47.
Tower on 124.47 Airwego 4003 heavy.
Let's try to turn in a bit slowly. Slowly and carefully, and we can stop here. Anyone coming behind us? No, it looks quite empty in that regard. The 777 is taking off. Vroom vroom vroom. Going down the runway. And nice that you can see the flaps down and those kind of things. Let's see. V1. Rotate. Yeah, there we go. Get up. How long does it take for those gears to come up? There we go. There we go. Yeah, the Fly UK one is going. Airwego 4003 heavy, ready for takeoff.
Airwego 4003 heavy contact Heathrow Tower on 124.47.
Tower on 124.47 Airwego 4003 heavy.
That's weird, we got already the handover, but 1.447. 1.2447. That's interesting though. Oh yeah, wait. So we have messed it up somehow. Can it work now? Nothing? I'm getting a bit crazy. How? Something with the setup I'm messing up. Okay, now it should work. 1.24.47. Okay, let's try. Airwego 4003 heavy, ready for takeoff.
Airwego
Ah,
4003
said the wrong
heavy
one.
pushback approved.
Or it interpreted it as a different one.
Airwego 4003 heavy.
Have we forgot anything here? Landing altitude? No. Airwego 4003 heavy, ready for takeoff. It doesn't even. Let me see. Takeoff, ready for departure.
Tower Airwego 4003 heavy ready for departure.
Airwego 4003
we're cleared. Perfect.
winds are 040 at 9 knots. Runway
Okay,
09
let's
right
get us
cleared for
moving.
takeoff squawk 4516.
Runway 09 right cleared for takeoff squawking 4516 Airwego 4003 heavy.
Give me a second, please. No, it's fine, thank you.
Okay, we have toga, LNAV, VNAV. The key will be to take off in a good way and hopefully not have any unforeseen issues. Okay, let's see. We're gonna push those. Thrust set. Yeah, look at this. We are off. Bit of lag actually. But the engines are looking good. Okay, let's see. 80 knots checked, 100 knots checked. Rotate. Okay, we came off pretty nicely here. So yeah, with the derated takeoff, it's gone pretty well. Positive rate of climb. Gear coming up. We're gonna pitch down a bit. We're saying goodbye to Heathrow. Okay, we wanna pitch down a bit more. You can go flap 0 already. Okay, let's see. Okay, we're trying to pick up a bit of speed as we start making our turn. Now it's gonna want us to pitch up a bit. We can shut these lights, the taxi and runway turn off once.
Airwego 4003
Yeah.
contact Heathrow radar
Oh, we don't want to pitch too much.
127.52.
Radar director on
Yeah, it looks pretty good.
127.52
Let's jump
Airwego
back to the
4003 heavy.
cockpit. No land tree.
Radar director Airwego 4003 heavy climbing to flight
Okay.
level 120.
I'm gonna guess that's because of the separate IRS issue. So let's just keep that in mind. We're not gonna do that, and we won't probably need to, but just good to keep in mind. Okay, looking good. Why does it want us to turn?
Airwego 4003 heavy contact London control.
Oh, I know why.
47.
Control on 118.47 Airwego 4003 heavy.
Airwego 4003 heavy descend and maintain flight level 060 until passing Mike Oscar Delta Mike India.
Yeah, we pitched a bit
Descend and
too.
maintain flight level 060 Airwego 4003 heavy.
Pitched too
Control
much.
Airwego 4003 heavy climbing to flight level 120.
We got a bit too eager there.
Airwego
Let's go
4003
to
heavy good morning.
standard. And let's see how long we'll need to maintain this specific elevation, or specific altitude, not elevation. Elevation is on the ground. Since we're gonna be flying this, I'm gonna put on the autopilot. It's a bit boring to try to maintain altitude when you're supposed to be climbing. The AI isn't the best to give, let's say, preemptive or early climb clearances. Very late actually usually with that. Until passing Modemy. Okay, so Modemy is that one. I find the LNAV to be a bit wonky also on the PMDG sometimes. It's not the smooth one I would want it to be. Not to say it's bad in any way, but could be a bit better. Okay, looking good. The nice True Earth UK is a very nice looking scenery. Okay, after mod me, we can again start to climb. So I'm just gonna click the VNAV like I did, and that's gonna get us climbing. Okay, the VNAV or LNAV is trying to get us back. Let me see if I can get a nice...
Airwego 4003 Heavy, expect the Biba 9er Delta arrival with the buybacks transition for the ILS approach to runway 09
maybe this could
right
be a
at Charles
nice...
de Gaulle Airport. Descend to cross buybacks at or below flight level 240, then descend via the Biba 9er Delta arrival with the buybacks
A nice
transition
thumbnail.
to cross IG09 are at or above 5,000 feet.
Okay, we already got the top of
Expect the Biba 9er Delta
climb.
arrival with the buybacks transition for the ILS approach to runway 09 right. Will cross buybacks at or below flight level 240, then descend via the Biba 9er Delta arrival with the buybacks transition to cross IG09 are at or above 5,000 feet. Airwego 4003 Heavy.
And now we got some really odd... let me have a look actually. For some reason the flight plan changed in pilot to ADC to some super strange one. This is all correct. Yeah, why do we...
As a reminder, please keep your seatbelt fastened while you are seated and do not congregate in the galley or near the lavatory.
Expect the Biba 9er Delta arrival. Oh, maybe it loaded the wrong... Let me just see, I'm just gonna make sure I get the right one. 09er, no. We haven't yet gotten any new clearances, that's very odd. Oh, because our assigned altitude is 5,000 feet. Okay, I can see the issue. Let's see if we can get this pilot ADC working correctly. I'm not sure why they assigned us to some weird transition. It makes no sense. They put us to a transition more towards Switzerland than the English Channel. So that's a bit odd. Pilot ADC does some weird stuff sometimes. We're above 10,000 feet. We can shut these ones. Why are we not climbing? Will that kickstart us? Yeah, there we go. Now we're climbing again. We're gonna be crossing the or start crossing the English Channel now. Leaving the beautiful True Earth UK behind us and going into the normal photoreal. But yeah, she's a beauty, the Queen of the Sky. There's no lying in that regard. Okay, let's see, we soon have to start preparing also for the arrival, which won't be anything special, right? Since it is just an ILS 09er right rather than left. I'm just gonna prepare a bit here for the thumbnail creation. Since I have some extra time. That's how you have to live life efficiently, productively. No break for the wicked. And let's see, we can actually check that I think already. 09er left, we have this old chart that I had saved. So 09er right, 09er left was the original one. Final approach course 86 110.1 ILS 570. Okay. Seems reasonable. Let me see, Barrow. Yeah, this one has the old school system where you have to like spin it in like some weird way to get it to 570. There we go, we have the Barrow set. What about the VNAV, not the VNAV, sorry, we're talking about the nav radio, 110.10.84, that's fine. Probably based on the P3D one. Airport altitude 400 feet. Just gonna leave that empty for now. Nothing really to check. Lights off. Yes. Seatbelt sign. Can go to off. And yeah, I think that's it. Let's have a look at the compass tool. Make sure we. Oh, and now it disappeared on me, of course. Always my luck. Looks like we are in level flight. It's looking good. We're about 25% done with our flight. We're already at our cruising altitude, so that's nice. And we can see pretty nice weather. Nothing spectacular, but you know, just some cumulus and other types of clouds. I can see some of these cargo ships down here. And I guess almost some contrails, but not really, not quite. We do have the immersion package for this one. Oh, there we can see the contrails though. So it looks like there is some. We're not sure what aircraft that is. I'm gonna guess like an Airbus or something. No, Iceland Air. Iceland Air 7. Could it be a 767 or 757 or maybe just a 737? Hard to say. It would be a 900, right? If it was. No, 767. Here we have it. I think it's this one. TF-ISV. Let's see. TF. Yeah, that's 767 by Iceland Air. Yeah, good. I'm starting to get better with my plane spotting. Slowly and steadily. What's our fuel situation looking like? Looks pretty good. What's the fuel flow at this sort of altitudes? Can't you see it here? Fuel flow. Maybe there's somewhere, it's just me that's being a bit blind. Yeah, this buddy who's got P3D, but he's having a lot of crashes and stuff. And what I will always say in that, you need to find out the log first. Just saying, oh, you have crashes and then giving up, that's like not the way to go about it. I would say the best way is to, you know, acknowledge you have crashes, try to find the log, and then work from there. You can then also try uninstalling, seeing which specific add-ons that's causing it. Usually it's quite easy to check. And I can understand, and this applies for any sim, not just P3D, Microsoft Flight Sim explain as well. Usually there's an explanation. At least I found out with most of my games, there's usually something that causes the issue. Okay, soon we can start descending. Have we gotten anything new from the towers? Doesn't look like it. We're at London control. Maybe that's why we don't need to be switched over anywhere. Let's keep an eye on the radio, see if we get any new input. Okay, reset MCP altitude. 5,000 was what they gave us, so let's put that in. Anything else we need to do? I don't think so. We're gonna hope that this will all work as it should. I'm gonna put you on this viewpoint for a bit, and I'm just gonna go and get something to drink and just prepare mentally for the approach. So I'll be right back. There we go. We have about 20 minutes left. We have started our descent. We're not going particularly fast. We still have about 130 nautical miles to go. That's in total time, or in total distance to the airport. So this is quite a how do you say, detour, instead of just going straight like this. But that's fine, we can do detours. Why not? Can't hurt too badly. We can see the terrain radar here. Not really spotting anything too interesting. Let's change to a different external view once we're jumping out to that. Or for the occasions that we jump out to the external one. It's nice to have a nice one. Have we gotten anything? Any sort of... Can we do like a radio check?
Center Airwego 4003 Heavy descending to flight level 050.
Airwego 4003 Heavy contact Paris Center on 119.82.
Center on 119.82.
Let's see if it
Airwego
changes.
4003 Heavy.
Yeah. Now we're on the
Center
right
Airwego
frequency.
4003 Heavy descending via the Biba 9D arrival with the buybacks transition to flight level 050.
Airwego 4003 Heavy, good afternoon.
Do we have any protection in the front in case of sun? No, doesn't look like it. Hey, we have heaters for the foot, shoulders, windshield air, on or off. The wipers seem to be working. We still haven't gotten any input from our Parisian ATC colleagues. So that's a bit odd. I don't know, maybe not crazy odd, but a bit different than you would expect. Or I guess, I mean, if we're just descending following the already provided descent clearance, then I guess it's fine. Okay, we have about 100 nautical miles to go now, 18 minutes still, so this won't be quick. We'll be flying above a bit of Paris this time, so let's see how the FPS is gonna be. Paris isn't the best city for FPS, unfortunately, so I'm not too excited about it, but I'm hoping it's gonna be a good one at least. But let's see. Famous last words. In terms of our missed approach, we have a climb straight ahead to 3,000 feet and then as directed, so that's pretty fine. If we're talking about the 747, though, what interesting info can Wikipedia provide us with? So almost 1,600 were built. Let me see. It was built between 1968 and 2023 was the last one that came off the production line. They only used the Gen X engine on the 747-8. In terms of operators, well, who were the biggest one? The 100. Oh well, I guess the only operator of the 100 is the Iranian Air Force, the SB Spratt and Whitney. The 200, the biggest one is US Air Force, and then Aerostan, which is some Kyrgyzstan airline. The 300 has Mahan Air and Transavia Export. The 747-400 has the Lufthansa as the biggest one, with Atlas Air in close second. The 747-400F is also Atlas Air and then Kalita Air. The 747-8I, or the passenger version, is Lufthansa and Air China and Korean Air. 747-8F, that's UPS Airlines, Cargolux, Cathay Pacific. Okay, so that's the operators as of today. In terms of historical, so the 747-100, that was Pan Am with 33 customers. And I'm wondering though, 747-100 versus 747-200 differences. So there was some differences. Let's see. So there's some difference in terms of windows on the upper deck. So less windows on the 100. Oh, these are really old forum posts. This is 24 years ago. That's crazy. Imagine the internet 24 years ago. This is 2001. So different engines, the ATD 9, the simplified fuel tanks. So it's 70s versus 80s electronics in the 200 compared to the, or in the 100 compared to the 200. I wanna see 747-100 cockpit. I mean, it looks quite like the 200, but I'm certain there's some differences. Okay, so Pan Am, of course, freighter for the 100, Islamic Republic of Iran Air Force, the 100B, Saudia 100SR, All Nippon 200B, Japan Airlines. Interesting. 200C Iraqi Airways, 200F Air France, 200M Lufthansa. So many different operators. Singapore Airlines for the 300, 300M, Singapore and Swiss Air, 300SR, Japan, so that's I guess the shortened one, or short range one. The 400 British Airways were the biggest operator, 57 of them. Or at least they had 57 orders, that's a lot. The 400D, All Nippon, the 400ER. Basically only Qantas used that. The ERF, Korean Air, the 400F, China, 400M, KLM, 8F, UPS, and 8I, Lufthansa, yeah. Okay, interesting. It is a beauty though, this is the 100B model. It's a very iconic airline, I must say. And you can even see it with the with the 400 ER model. It's just a very unique aircraft. Not by any stretch my favorite. I don't fly it a lot. If I have to put a favorite, I mean, it's hard to say in terms of within the 747 family as well. I love the 200 one that I fly in X-plane. I like the 400. I like the 800. Maybe the 400 is a lot of, but it's so hard, right? Depends on what I want to fly. I do think I like the 400 more than the 800 because or the 8 because that's a bit of like the modern one, not as popular, right, in real life. But then of course I do appreciate the EFB and stuff, right, from a flight sim perspective. Hell, even the 200 Felis one has the EFB. Okay, let's see, we'll go to PG 527. We don't seem to have we seem to have a direct to Igor. Weird that we got such a weird approach. Or why that one changed. I must have misclicked something. But okay, so Igor, I think we can put that as a direct. Because that's basically what they're gonna give us. Oh wait, let's see, I think we need to do it like this, right? That should be good enough. In terms of our transition, 5,000 feet. Okay, okay. Okay. Anything else? We're soon at 10,000 feet. That means putting on the landing lights again. Let's do that. Otherwise it's looking pretty nice. I wonder if there's been any changes in the weather and what's the altimeter. We haven't received anything in that regard. Airwego 4003 heavy, say altimeter.
Airwego 4003 heavy QNH is 1019er.
QNH is 1019er Airwego 4003.
Let's have that ready. The VRs aren't picking up anything yet, at least. Not sure if we have to put them. Can we do that? Invalid entry. Okay, so maybe not possible. We now have about 50 nautical miles and 10 minutes to go. This is gonna be a much longer flight than I was expecting. It's gonna be 2 hours. I was thinking I could do it in 1 hour and 15 minutes, but no, wrong I was. Yeah, the Iberia 747-200 also a pretty nice looking model. Look at these engines, yeah, very, very pretty. And what else? What else? Any interesting other? Still having a look at the cockpit pictures of the 100, but they really look like the 200 in terms of the avionics, so I'm not sure. You know, it could be later upgrades, right? Avionics is impossible to switch.
Ladies and gentlemen, the default sign is now turned on, so please transfer
It's a bit like the MD-10 flight deck. Let me see if I can find a good picture of it. Here's a picture I think I
Airwego
found.
4003 Heavy. You are 42 nautical
Oh,
miles
let's listen
northwest
to
of the
this.
airport. QNH is 1018 cleared for the ILS approach to runway 09er right with the MOP-7E transition
1018.
at Charles de Gaulle Airport. Contact de Gaulle approach on 119.85.
Okay, that's good.
QNH
We
is
got the right
1018
transition
for
to
the
the
ILS
approach.
to runway
Yeah.
09er right with the MOP-7E transition at Charles de Gaulle Airport. Approach on 119.85. Airwego 4003
Looks like there is
Heavy.
some fog or some cloud layer. So I'm wondering a bit about what the
Approach
weather
Airwego
is.
4003
Let's double
Heavy
check.
descending to flight level 050.
Airwego 4003 Heavy.
Should
Good
be a
afternoon.
fine. So let's see. But yeah, the MD-10. So this is the upgraded from the DC-10, and you can kind of see that it is the DC-10, but then, you know, FMCs, modern ones, 6 screens, new autopilot. It's quite a big change actually. Not sure I'm a big fan. I know I fly my weird modified DC-10 version in P3D, but even that one is a bit of an odd one. Okay, I'm feeling a bit of lag. I'm gonna assume it's related to us starting to have a bit of Paris loading in. Assume we'll have the airport as well. We're below 10,000 feet. We have the landing lights on. Let's see what we can see in front of us. Okay, it's looking clear actually, so I guess it was only here, right? We had some of the weather. Got a bit of a cloud layer. Well, that's good, so we can still trust the active sky weather. But yeah, goddamn, the MD-10 is basically totally different. I mean, look, it's basically the MD-11. That's interesting to see. Very interesting. Even the overhead panel has been switched out. That must have been a very costly upgrade. Let me have a look at A300 cockpit upgrade, because I know there was some talk about upgrading their cockpits as well. And you know the A300, it's let me see, A300 cockpit. Let's not do the upgrade, let's do the old school one. Yeah, here we can see, so let me just check outside here first. Yeah, it's looking good. It's very good photoreal, the Matthias one, not gonna complain about that. But here we have a pretty good picture of the differences. Why did this translate to Swedish? That's odd. So that's the current one. And then the Primus Epic cockpit. Quite a bit different. Or, I guess this is the main difference, how that looks. Is there any other... Well, here we have like a full version, right? So basically only the screens, but still pretty neat change. Potentially these are also changed. I didn't think of that actually. Yeah, it's a different FMC. So yeah, pretty cool. Pretty cool. Okay, we're continuing to move forward. You can see a bit of the city center. It's not gonna look too pretty. I don't have any add-on for Paris specifically. There are a few that are pretty nice, but nothing spectacular. We're soon at 5,000, so I'm just gonna do or I'm just gonna remove the standard so I don't forget. 1018 I think was the altimeter when I looked at active sky for the airport. It's gonna lag a bit now because we're gonna have Paris loading in, then we're gonna have the airport loading in specifically once we get on our final. I'll also do the lights already, so we have that prepped. I think in terms of fuel, etc., it should be fine. We can just double check, of course. But yeah, we can see here it's looking pretty fine fuel-wise. In terms of the prog, let's go to the prog page. All of this is. Let me go to the second page. Yeah, everything's looking good for the landing. We can do flap 30, 138. That should be fine. We can see now that we're starting to catch the ILS. We picked up the signal for it, so that's good. I'll wait before activating the. Let's descend to 4,000. I'm actually gonna check quickly if we got any clearance to descend further. No, we just got clearance to get onto the final one, and 4,000 is where we wanna be at. Still a bit of lag, mainly because we're loading in this huge
Airwego 4003
city.
Heavy QNH is 1018 at Charles de Gaulle Airport. Contact de Gaulle Tower on 118.65.
QNH is 1018
Okay,
tower
and we're
on
being handed over to the
118.65
tower.
Airwego 4003 Heavy.
So that's good.
Tower Airwego
They're also
4003
slowing down a bit.
Heavy inbound for ILS approach runway 09er right.
I think we can go to flaps 1 to help a bit with the slowing
Airwego
down.
4003 Heavy, good afternoon. Continue ILS to runway 09
So
right
138,
call when
30
established on final.
flaps. We want to slow down to
Continue ILS runway 09 right.
170.
When established on final Airwego
That's
4003
the airport right, yeah, and the 19 right we're landing. Sorry, 19. 09 right, so 9er right we're landing. And now we can put on the approach mode. I'm gonna add flaps 5 already. So lights are set. We'll land with 2 on the auto brake. I think that should be good enough. The one thing I still think P3D beats X-Plane, not in every aircraft but in quite a bit, is or P3D beats X-Plane in the specific area of cockpits. To be exact, I feel like the lights and how that kind of works looks a bit better. But that's about the only area. I still find the X-Plane has really upgraded now during the last few days, last few months with the new beta. Maybe it's weeks only, can't really remember. Okay, we'll go off on that. We'll disconnect the auto throttle. And let's see, we're doing 09er right. I guess that's 09er left. We're on flaps 10. We're going flaps 20. Gonna add a bit of thrust. Here we can see the city of Paris. Almost like I want to upgrade it. I'm just afraid that that's gonna lead to even more FPS hits, and I mean, it's not often you fly this direction, right? Okay, we're at flaps 20. We have the auto throttle disconnected. That's fine. I can put that to off. Cancel. We're following the slope nicely. I'm gonna add a bit more thrust. Go to flaps 25. And then I'm gonna take manual control over this. Stop complaining. I can do this, I believe. And that's all you need to do. Let's add the flaps 30. Airwego 4003 heavy, established on final.
Airwego 4003 heavy winds are 359er at 8 knots. Cleared to land runway 09er right.
Let's throttle down a bit. Still looking pretty okay. We're a bit to the right now of the localizers. Let's try to get back. The crosswind is coming from the left or from the northeastish. 033, 032 at 14 knots. So a bit higher. We'll need to be prepared to crab a tiny bit to the right. Pretty okay on the light slope. I'm gonna throttle down a bit more. So we're coming in quite quick. So let's see, we can start pitching up quite a bit, and that's gonna kill off quite a bit of our speed. I'm gonna go a bit further to the left. Let's see, I'm gonna add a bit more thrust. Now we're a bit low. And a bit more thrust. Now we're quite straight. We have a direct crosswind actually. 8 knots from, well, almost exact north. 360 or 359. It's fluctuating a bit. Hopefully no wind shear, but I don't think there was any warning for that. We're a bit below. Speed-wise it's looking pretty okay. Let's see if we can get down within the threshold. Looks pretty good as of now. Maybe we're a bit low still. You want to be a bit higher than you would otherwise be. I got a traffic warning, not sure from what. Okay, let's see. We can throttle down a bit more. Okay, 30 minimums. 200, still looking pretty good. Continue. 100.
60, 50, 40, 30.
Let's crab a bit.
10, 5.
Okay. That might actually have been a pretty good landing. Let's see. Once we get the replay, but that might have been a good one. We forgot to arm the speed brakes, I just remembered, but that was about the only thing we didn't do. Or maybe we did actually, I didn't fully check that. Oh, wait a second, what? Wait a second, what happened there? That was really odd. Is there something? Maybe there was some sort of hidden object or something there. I don't know. That was weird.
Airwego 4003 heavy contact de Gaulle ground on 121.8.
Our landing rate was okay. 277. Reasonable. We landed within our... Oh, no entry runway ahead. Okay, yeah, good. We're at least going. So this is just a, I guess, a high-speed takeoff. Or sorry, a high-speed, not takeoff, but high-speed runoff area or runoff taxiway from the runway. And let's see. I guess the question is where we want to park. Airwego 4003 heavy, ready to taxi. Okay, let's see if we get... Oh, I think we might have by mistake crashed. Oh no,
Airwego
it's back.
4003 Heavy Taxi to Gate Whiskey 5 via Quebec, Delta, Bravo Delta 9er.
Let's taxi here.
Taxi to Gate Whiskey 5 via Quebec, Delta, Bravo Delta 9er, Airwego 4003 Heavy.
Maybe the speed outer brakes weren't disarmed enough, and that kind of caused a bit of a weird pitch. Or not weird pitch, but the weird motion. Like the weird right motion just after landing. That was a big bummer though, because I really felt the landing was good. Okay. They wanted us actually to taxi to the tiny, to the other terminal here, this one, but we're just gonna taxi to the big one. I've never been at the smaller one. I've only been at the larger one, but I can't recall exactly where we were at. God, I'm taxiing bad today. Sorry about that, guys. We could actually theoretically taxi here and just park. I'm being a bit lazy now, but I don't want to taxi the full way to the terminal. I doubt you will see 747, so taxi to a parking such as this, but I guess not impossible. Everything is possible in life. I'll just do... This one is the larger one. I guess all of them are a bit of bigger ones. Let's do this one, 03. I'm guessing these are more like parking for, you know, if the aircraft has to wait a bit longer. I'm guessing Air France is using these ones most of the time. I assume Charles de Gaulle is more their sort of hub. Okay, let's see. We're gonna add a bit thrust. Do we know anything about the APU? Did I get that started? I think so. Taxied a bit poorly. Could have been worse. Yeah. Okay, we are ready to shut the engines. We can also actually just do... Oh, I forgot the seat belt sign as well, that's a bit awkward. I'll shut pilot to ADC. I'll submit the PIREP. PIREP filed. And last thing before we watch the replay and wrap up is just to check this one. I think we just need to open a door. It's usually something simple. But yeah, another nice flight with the PMDG B747. I think I'm gonna do a bit of 747 flying. Maybe I'll do the 200 next, and maybe an 800 with, or the 8 model with Metro Air. That could be fun. Maybe I can do the 200 with Walker Air, because those are the only ones I know operate it. That I want to find. I want to find a virtual airline that's like a fake virtual airline that operates like only the old school planes. That would be cool. Okay, deboarding. Specifically if they had like routes and, you know, VORs to follow, so you could practice that sort of things. 278, yeah, it's fine. Okay, let's have a look at the replay. We can do 460, should be good enough, I hope. So yeah, I was pretty pleased with the approach. We're a bit low, I would say, for a longer time. Still looks pretty good, the skyline here. When I was in Paris last, we didn't really go to the inside of Paris. It was a work-related event, so we have this huge campus thing. So quite a bit away from Paris, more towards Disneyland. But very nice. Very nice indeed. Okay, let's see. We're coming down here for our landing. Can we see? Yeah, we can't see flaps down or anything. So I guess not a lot is going to be modeled during the replay, unfortunately. Let's see how our crab was. 'Cause I think the landing was pretty good. Yeah, we used the rudder. We could see that on the plane moving. Then we land. Yeah, back wheels first. Then the front. We can hear the thrust reversers, but we can't see them in action. I just want to see, because we're turning here. So what happened that made the whole plane kind of swivel to the right? Probably something with the auto brake or similar. Maybe I turned too quickly and it just... Yeah, that was odd. That was really odd actually. I've never seen that happen before. Yeah, no clue. Looked a bit funny though. I'll give it that much. Let's have a look before we quit though, that there wasn't any failures or similar. You know, maybe I broke something. No active. Okay. Well, in that case, alles gut. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them down below or come with recommendations for my next flights. And otherwise, have a good rest of the day. Thank you for watching and bye bye.